Awesome. We're back. It's been months. What's up? This is Hiram.
BK.
And
Andre Joseph.
Our esteemed guest tonight for, I guess, what could be considered the 2023 Hang On to Your Shorts Film Festival kickoff podcast here from the amazing and beautiful
Bellworks Studios.
At a Shared Universe podcast studios, yes. Bellworks looks a little different today because according to our engineer extraordinaire, Ming, there's been some shooting out. You know, which
not
is
real
shooting.
Awesome.
Not
Film shooting.
Filming. There has been filming going on, and this place lends itself for that. It's a beautiful and sprawling location. So if you've never been to Bellworks, come in. As long as you don't come here in during our Hang Out to Your Shorts Film Festival. As long as you don't do that, we're good.
Yeah.
So, brother, how have you been? Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, my son. It's all good. It's all good. But I think the thing that I want to just check in with everybody real quick is how long has it been? It's probably just been too long.
It's been way too long. We started off prior to kicking off here with King's Counter Brewers Collective, the Worminator Double IPA. This is what we do here. And by the way, we do not drink to overindulge. We each had like this much. Yeah. It's a tiny bit. It makes this a little bit more interesting. But because this is the kickoff show, and like I said, I introduced our guest, Andre Joseph. We picked him, not only is he a very nice gentleman who submitted an amazing film, your film was the first one submitted this year.
I'm very surprised about that.
Well, I think it was shortly after we opened up the queue. The film is called Dismissal Time. And, it was also the first film that you and I watched over the summer, the first time we met at the house.
The first time you were back
at my house, yes.
Not for legal reasons, just renovation, a little bit.
Yes, and, it gets you from the very beginning to literally the end of the credits. The movie is just intense in a very, very positive way. So we wanted to open up the floor to you, brother. Thank you for coming.
Yes.
And let us know as much as you can, because I know, no spoilers, about Dismissal Time.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So Dismissal Time is loosely based on real events that happened to me when I was in high school in my freshman year. Story follows a prep school student named T.K. Clark. He's one of the few black students in his class. And he has been the subject of some bullying over a girl that he likes who is not of his race. He has a history teacher named Sharon Vance, who's like maybe one of the few teachers that thinks that he's a bright student. And then one day he gets called into the guidance counselor's office. And he is confronted with an apparent hit list of students that he doesn't like, and he claims he didn't do it, but the guidance counselor says, we're going to do an investigation, don't talk about it. And when he goes home, he sees a bunch of hate messages because this thing's been kind of circulating around, and he tries to take his own life. So now the incident gets school-wide. His teacher, among others, his parents are all brought into the school to find out what happened. And the next thing you know, the principal is telling the teacher, Vance, that we're going to, look into this. We'll make a school-wide announcement if he's exonerated. But instead, they announce the school dance instead and completely sweep it under the rug. So it's up to Vance to find out what really went down. And when she gets to the truth, it brings up a lot of disturbing truths about our school system, and especially when it comes to trying to protect the school's administration's image.
So this has a lot of different themes in it. Obviously, like it's a high school theme or prep school, bullying, cyberbullying, and even, racial and gender, stereotypes and all of that. So it's an intense movie. I speculated it was about 15 minutes. I checked the runtime later. It's
about 29,
more than 20 something minutes, but it was the quickest 20 something minutes I've ever. I mean, it just seemed like it went in a blink, and that's a testament to how you kept the story going. The way that you shot it, almost on a day-to-day basis, literally Monday, Tuesday, it helps the sequence beautifully. My gosh, you have to come see it. Please come to Hang On to Your Shorts in, May 6th and 7th and come see Dismissal Time.
Is that when it is?
Yes. May 6th and 7th.
May 6th and 7th. All right.
You know, you said that this was loosely based on or not so loosely based on real events. So how did this go from an event to film?
So, long story short, when I was in high school, I went to a Catholic school in Staten Island, and very much it was a similar situation. A girl that I liked, her friends didn't like me all that much, and I heard this rumor about I wrote some hit list of students I didn't like. I thought it was BS. I thought it was just like one of those jokes. But this thing kind of kept going, and I just ignored it. Then the Columbine shooting happened. This was in '99. The very next day, I get called into the guidance counselor's office. He shows me a physical copy of this list with my email address on top. And again, I denied it. I had nothing to do with it. I didn't exhibit that kind of behavior of wanting to harm anybody. But they still dragged my friends, my parents, to question my behavior and all this. And then they kind of decide, okay, maybe he didn't do it, so we'll just make a, exoneration thing, do it at school assembly. But they announced a school dance instead. And it disgusted me enough to want to get out of there and go to public school for the rest of my life. So I kind of suppressed it for a very long time. It was something I really didn't want to touch on because I had a little bit of PTSD, especially going to certain schools afterwards that were, majority Caucasian, worrying that that kind of situation would happen again. It wasn't until I was much older when COVID hit and I was staying with my mom in Delaware throughout the lockdowns and George Floyd got murdered. And like everybody else, we were all horrified with what we saw on the news. And then the protests started to happen, and I started to feel those feelings again, like those things that were kind of springing up. And, I started to kind of like be open about my experience. And then there would be people DMing me who were like, oh, that's fake unity, that's not real, this and that. And I said, I got to do something about it. So I'm here. I can't film anything. I can't go out. So I just put pen to paper and I just said, I'm going to write this script based on this. And then in reading other stories that had happened to the likes of Nigel Shelby and other black students in different schools across the country where similar things were going on, where they were being cyberbullied or just bullied in general for their race or who they love. And getting swept under the rug. These schools don't want to confront it. So I felt I had to say something, and I didn't want to wait 7 years to do it. I felt this was the time.
Oh, wow. So this is a case where pretty much where reality trumps anything you could make up in your mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because when I saw that part, I said, wow, how devious these people are. I either thought one of two things when I first watched it. I either thought, okay, he's faking the funk and pretending he didn't come up with this hit list. But then it would be like a double thing, like he was making them believe like he wasn't involved. But then I'm thinking, wait a second, he doesn't have anything to gain from this. And, you get to see his character. I mean, of course, he gets picked on right away and all this other stuff. So I'm like, wait a second, no. He's not the man. He's not the one behind this. And then you get to see, as you pull back, you get to see how devious and deceptive these other characters are in the film, and it's just whoa.
Yeah. So how did you get this film into production? From script to production, yeah.
It wasn't as difficult as some of my other projects because once I had a script, I knew right away I wanted to cast my friend Lisa Regina for the teacher because she had been my acting coach for some time. She was also in my first movie, Priceless, and she was the first person I thought of for that role. So once she got involved, she was able to help a lot with recommending actors and helping me with crowdfunding. I used Fractured Atlas to do the 501c3 to have like tax deductible donations made to the film.
Wow.
And of course, I was also working that following summer as an instructor at Idea Center for the Arts in Camden, New Jersey. So that also helped to kind of, through getting paid through that, I put those funds towards the project.
That's wonderful. And I had to ask, because setting, once again, this is the second film that I've seen where, the setting is a major component of the film. I mean, more than normal. An actual school. You got an actual school? Was that a school? Because if it wasn't, it looked an awful lot like a school.
So that's the magic of filmmaking. Because, we did try to get a high school to shoot, but the schedule wasn't going to work with schools opening up at the point when we were shooting. So it was a combination of a few things. The classroom scenes were done at the Philadelphia Jazz Clef Club in the heart of Philadelphia. Lovett Hines had some empty classrooms that we were able to use in exchange for a favor for him. So that's where we set up like the classroom scenes, the hallway scenes. The lunchroom was actually done in Bucks County Technology Park, which we rented out for a day. It's like a regular office cafeteria, but it looked like a high school cafeteria that's very high end. And we used the outside of that building for the outside of the school and like the opening shot that you see in the film. And then everything else, as far as like the office scenes, those were done at Lisa's boyfriend's office, who does real estate. So he was willing to let us shoot there for like the conference room scene and the principal's office.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I had to ask. Oh my gosh! Of course it goes. The movie was dedicated to the enduring memories of Sharon Valisi or Valisi and Miss Wilma Myers. Can you talk about them for a little bit?
Absolutely. So Sharon Valisi was the 8th grade teacher in my Catholic school, and occasionally when my 5th grade teacher was out, she would sub for us because it would be like one of those things where you'd have like one teacher teaching different subjects to each class at that particular time. And she was one of those teachers I remember who was very tough, had a very tough exterior about her. But then she'd show these moments of humility that made you see that she did care, even if it was at arm's length. So, for example, the opening scene in the film when you see TK getting bullied in the lunchroom with the school prank, and he walks to this table and sits by himself, and she sits next to him, just gives him a napkin, and they don't say anything. Mm-hmm. That actually happened to me. That was for real. Yeah. And Wilma Myers was actually my public school vice principal in Staten Island. I used to be her not hall monitor, but I was like a monitor in her office, so I would help if she needed to have papers or things delivered to different teachers or different departments. I was there to help. And she was there for me at a very tough time in my life when I was readjusting from a Catholic school to a public school. And there was one particular instance, it's not something I depicted in the film, when I came to school one day and I got profiled by the police because I wore a black jacket and a red hat, and they were looking for a suspect that was around the neighborhood that had a gun, who had the same description as me.
You fit the description.
Yeah, and, I remember this time when I got taken to the office, because I had to explain what happened, and she went to another teacher and said, "Do you know who this kid is? Do you know who his father is, his grandfather is?" Because, my dad's a dentist. My grandfather, he was one of the first doctors in New York City coming out of World War II. That's something I forgot about for a very long time, and it kind of came to me when I was making the film. Like, she was one of those few. Those two stood up for me and were kind of a composite for this character of Vance.
Wow,
that is wonderful.
Yeah. It's pretty intense.
So,
bro.
Right about when was this a post-COVID film, or?
It was post-COVID, so, again, I wrote it during that summer when we were all locked down at home, and then when we started to shoot, it was kind of when the Delta variant was coming around, so we were very cautious with not having as many students as we would like in certain scenes. Like the lunchroom scene would have been a lot bigger with more money and more people, but we worked with what we had, and I was grateful to everybody that showed up. Everybody was masked. We had hand sanitizer. We did temperature checks every day, and thank God nobody got sick on that set, because that was the thing I worried about the whole time. But like I said, I couldn't wait another 7 years to do it.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. So no, we are definitely looking forward to Dismissal Time. There's so much more that we can say about it, but obviously you've done a very good job of summarizing what it's about,
and really sharing. Just like on the personal level. I mean, it's not just a labor of love. Excuse me, I'm full klimped. It's a personal. It's this thing that you went through, that you survived, and then you kind of brought it to film, and it's that the intensity shows through when you're really kind of dealing with it, and then you give the backstory, and it brings this whole level of reality.
It's sort of my odd I guess, self-therapy in a sense to have to like confront those issues, because I do feel like some of those things did kind of stint my growth as I was getting older, and I feel it's important, just to not just get the movie out there for accolades, but just to be able to share the story, because I know there are other kids going through this right now. You don't hear those stories get talked about on CNN or on the local news on occasion. And, I think it's important to say, like, hey, you're not alone in this. There are people like Vance who are listening and can help, and you don't have to resort to harming yourself because there are other forces out there that tell you you're not special.
Right. Now, have you thought about moving this out to any other platforms or any, like maybe even allowing, schools to take a look at it? I mean, to be part of maybe even, again, not that this is anything on you, but, part of a curriculum about anti-bullying. I mean, granted, it would have to definitely be at the high school level. I mean, I don't think grade school kids would probably either get it or they would probably be freaked out by it.
Even for middle school might be a little young, but high school definitely.
Yeah.
It's a very timely concept, no doubt.
Yeah, no, that's definitely one of our biggest missions right now, is to get this played in schools. In fact, on our website, we have a little study guide for people that if they watch the film, they can, use it to sit, have conversations with their teachers and with other students, and, address the concerns that the film raises. And we haven't had any luck yet in terms of contacting some of these schools, but we're still making that our mission to get some feelers out and talk to some principals and administrators that even from a therapeutic level, it can address a lot of those concerns.
Yeah.
What about, obviously you submitted to us. Can you let us know about either, dismissal times, journeys since you shot it? Obviously you're submitting to festivals. I'm sure it might have, been screened already. And what else have you been working on?
Oh, absolutely. So we premiered the film at the Philadelphia Independent Film Festival this past June. It was our first screening, and it was very emotional. I mean, the reactions this film was getting in the Q&A was like really intense. People could relate to their own stories with this film, and even young people that were telling me about stuff that was happening in their lives right now. So I had a lot of long conversations, and since that time, we played at the New York True Venture Film Festival, where we won the Best Human Rights Award. We won the Audience Award at the Indie Short Film Series in Charlottesville, which was very important to me because of what happened in Charlottesville. And we played at the Newark Film Festival as well this past fall. So that's really where we've been. We also won another award recently for Lisa Regina at the Carpe Diem Film Festival in Spain.
Oh,
and that was a big honor for her, because she definitely worked her tail off to make that character come to life on screen. And we're still having a bunch of others that are pending. And as far as other projects right now, there's some stuff that's still pending. But I did a G.I. Joe fan film over the summer because I want to experiment with VFX.
Yes.
So
G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Grown up on the toys, and
I
think
he's a real American
wearing
hero.
a shirt that says his tank on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that, but well done, sir. Well done.
I think Paramount's fallen short, so I'm going to try to pick up their slack.
That's cool. That's cool.
So I have that. I have a thriller called Marked, which a friend of mine, Billy Donnelly, wrote, and that's all completed, so we'll be submitting that next year. And I'm also in the early stages of a documentary, which will be about generational civil rights community organizers in Staten Island. So I can't give away too much on that yet, because there's some things that are still pending, but that's one of the projects we're working on. And a couple of other things that are still in the works. We have a Western we've been trying to get off the ground for a while.
Wow.
Yeah, that COVID hit us with that one, and trying to find funding has not been easy.
Are the people going to be wearing cowboy hats or derby hats, man?
We're going to try to be as period accurate as possible.
Okay, yeah.
That's cool.
No, because, yeah. That is freaking awesome.
The G.I. Joe fan film. I'm sorry, I just got to go back to that for a second. So now, you did it, I guess, just for your own thing, but I mean, will that be going anywhere? Are you putting it out on anything? Is it out on anything?
Well, I'm actually in the last stages of the visual effects for it, so it's not quite done yet. I did post up the behind the scenes stills the other day. That one, I mean, I'll take it to any festival that's willing to take fan films, like the Urban Action Showcase. I know, I think Geek Fest. Yeah, anybody that's willing to watch it, because we did this one just for fun and because I'm a fan. And like I said, there's like special effects stuff that I've been kind of experimenting with during COVID that I want to really put to the test and apply to future projects.
Cool.
That is
Yeah, man.
amazing. So, you know what? What we would like you to do, if you would join us, is we're just going to talk a little bit more about what we're doing in the festival.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
What we're aiming to do, and we just talk about everything, including films. On his social media page, he quoted a really old school movie the other day, and you made me. I have to go on Amazon now and get it. He quoted the movie Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Remember with Anthony Edwards
Yes.
and Linda Fiorentino, Sasha Banachek, the GDR. I want to get that film now. That's on my own. I'm going to buy it for myself. Christmas.
They have a Blu-ray with the director's commentary.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I've made it a mission to collect all the obscure and not so obscure 80s classics, like Just One of the Guys.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Nerds, which would never ever see the light of day in the 21st century. But if you look at it just through the lens of when it was made,
You have to.
and it's just a freaking hilarious movie.
I have one word for you: strudel.
Yes.
Wait, Jonathan no home. You sound so far. Oh gosh, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say in it, and I can't. That was classic. I'm like, yay. I'm a dork. Please forgive me.
I'm knee deep in this stuff,
Yeah. That's good.
Who isn't?
Yeah.
Who definitely isn't?
No, at least part of this world, anyway.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first official, kickoff to the Hang On to Your Shorts Film Festival. We've been meeting behind the scenes probably every week, secretly at my house, having pizza and brainstorming. Bia, with Diana. Diana, we miss you. Joining us and providing her planning and insight. This is our 10th anniversary.
True.
Between Hang On to Your Shores and what was it called before, the Jersey Shore
Jersey Shore Film Festival.
Film Festival, yes.
Which, we had to change the name.
We had to change the name, yes.
Cease and desist.
Yes. Gotta love those things.
But out of that negativity, which we were upset about for a while, hey, this guy's not even using his name, yada, 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 came this really great brainstorming name between myself and a couple of the other directors, and I think this
Mello, Lello, and CJ.
Yeah, and I think this is a killer name. I'm glad we've kind of traded.
And you gotta love the graphic. Come
logo,
on.
and it's
The guy holding on to, well, he's not holding on to his shorts, he's holding on to his reel. That hold is strategically placed.
Looks like your son. He kind of resembles him.
It does look like AJ,
Yeah.
but this is a grown man. My son's only 11 years old. I assure you he was not the model for this, but we've been canvassing the Asbury Park area, trying to craft like a nice premiere experience, not just for the audience, but also for the filmmakers that submit and, anybody that hopes to attend. Have you had any words from, Mello Lello about, the sponsors and stuff like who we're working with?
Yeah, he's working on, hopefully keeping the ones we have, which would be the Smith Group, we're talking to Taka again, and a couple of other people behind the scenes. But we're really trying to pull in, as much Asbury as possible. But if Asbury isn't answering the call, we will gladly have other people collaborate. Yes, collaborate with us and expand.
Well, there are people that will talk to Ming about that. I definitely want to reach out to, because Ming is just like the goodwill ambassador of. It used to be the Jersey Shore. Now it's become the United States. At the very, very least, a national goodwill ambassador. He knows he has people in every city. He knows at least one speakeasy or dive bar in every city that he goes to. One day he will be able to write a book
Yes, I look forward to it.
you
So,
know,
It's in my head, gentlemen. I just got to get it out.
well,
I
this-
knew
gotta
it.
get it out.
Not
this is-
surprising.
You know who your
Not
ghostwriter is
surprising.
going to be? Your ghostwriter is going to be your daughter. She's going to be your ghost.
You know what?
writer.
That's not a bad idea. She does like to write, as opposed to me who hates to write. So
Right.
look for that hit collaboration soon,
Yes,
everybody.
I have plenty of ideas in my head, but to get them down on paper, I have this story for a film called White Boys Getting Drunk in the City. now, granted, it came from a guy down in the subway because he saw both of us, this was back when I was much younger. I was probably in my 20s. And
That was a
me and
long time ago.
Yeah, it's quite a while and a few haircuts ago. But we were there and, we're hanging out. We met up with a bunch of people and we got stuck in the city way past, it's almost like that movie that, what is it? Griffin Dunn is in.
Oh, After Hours.
After Hours, right? So it's almost a little like that because we got stuck because we were two Jersey kids and we're like, what are the trains run? They're running all night. No, they don't. In any case, we got stuck in Penn Station, but prior to getting stuck in Penn Station and the police actually letting us sleep on the grimy floor there,
Oh,
we were in the subway station waiting to get uptown, and as we were on West 4th Street and somewhere in there, and a guy came down, he saw us there, and we're both yakking our brains out, and and so it was a beautiful storyline way up to that, but the guy in this trench coat who looked like he was as tall as the ceiling, of course, at the time, and he's just
from your vantage point in the ground, yes.
Yeah, well, no, we were on these benches, like
Oh, okay.
yakking, and it was kind of like a waterfall going
Oh,
over,
okay.
over into
Okay.
the track. Sorry. Anyway, graphic. But in any case, I just hear him off in the distance. There's some other things that happened before this guy came along, but he's just laughing. He goes, "White boys getting drunk in the city."
that sounds.
It was hilarious. I mean, not at the
poetic as
time.
hell. I've gotten stuck in New York City, before,
After hours?
all of this after hours. Yes, like the Port Authority buses stop running and Penn Station. So I went to that diner that used to be by the New York Hotel, like the Hotel New York. There used to be a 24-hour diner there, and I just sat there and with whatever $10 I had in my pocket, had something to eat, and just waited till the morning.
So it was
It happens to everyone.
It was a cookie. Yeah, got a $10 cookie.
It was a cookie, yes.
Yeah.
It was a $10 cookie.
So before we dive back into where we're going and what we're doing, this is our next tasting. The offering tonight here is Other Half. It's a triple cream, a triple dry hopped, triple oat cream India Paleo. And it's about, I think this is about 10%.
Oh,
So
pretty strong.
I have not had this. So
For the record, ladies and gentlemen, this is how much there is.
cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers, sir.
Yes.
Flick, cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
This is also very, very creamy, very soft.
Yeah.
Very good. Oh, triple cream. Hello.
Yeah.
Triple dry hop.
And so and it's an oat cream, so that the oats added to the mash definitely kind of mellow it out.
Mellow it and soften it. I like
Yeah.
this better than the harsh, almost antiseptic, like strong hoppy flavor of some beers. It's taken a couple of years since I was introduced by him to these type of brews. I seldom drank any beer, and if I did, it was kind of like Bud Light, Bud Ultra,
Right.
whatever, Michelob Ultra. And now, I've graduated to this stuff. But
Got him on the hard stuff.
yes, but it's delicious. It's delicious, and it's fueled many a conversation about films and where the film festival is headed. So we want you to definitely let all your filmmaker friends know about Hangouts Your Shorts Film Festival. You have submitted to us before, but it was at an inopportune time.
Yeah, the saxophonist.
The saxophonist. Now, I met you at another film festival, and I was just there lending support to a friend who had a film showing, and I was very impressed. The saxophonist did screen and hang out to your Shorts Film Festival, but this was our virtual show that we had from a Shared Universe podcast studios. This time it was in Eatontown. An amazing film. Can you let us know a little bit about the cast and And you have to let us know if it's in any streaming platform or if people could find it anywhere on YouTube, because it's
Tubi or
Anywhere.
whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was a movie. I wrote that originally in college, and I kind of put it on the shelf for a while before I decided I was kind of old enough to know what it's like to be a struggling artist in New York. So the Sex Shows was kind of a metaphor for me as a filmmaker. And Bevan Lawrence was the lead actor. He had never acted before, but he was a professional saxophone player taught by Jackie McLean. And he'd already put out an album years before we did the film, so we actually adapted a lot of his music into it. And he performed most of his music live on the set. We actually had 2 cameras running, particularly for a band scene that he had his own band perform all the way through. I think they did like 2 different tracks. His character is basically a guy trying to become one of the next greats, and he's caught between an opportunity to sign with the label in Los Angeles or to be with this French ballerina dancer played by Nadia Encarnacion, who is not French, but did a convincing French accent that I said, okay, I got to cast this girl because she's just amazing. Yeah. And everybody in that movie, Michael Roberts, Jared Smithwick, everybody was incredible. It was just like a smooth, simple romantic story. And we won Best Film at the New York Jazz Film Festival, which is now run by the Bebop Channel, and that's actually where you could still find the movies on the Bebop Channel app.
The Bebop Channel app, and the movie's called The Saxophonist. All I remember from the film, well, the things that I remember from the film are, 2 beautiful young actors, very well acted film. I'm very surprised to hear that gentleman had never acted before.
I worked with him for 8 months.
Okay. But, amazing acting. And so, great actors. The music was amazing, obviously. And there was another actor, not an actor, but there was another element to the movie. It showcased the beauty of New York.
Yes. That was a big key of it, was to shoot in New York.
Gosh. In my old age, I'm reacquainting myself with New York City, and I love it. Every time I go there, I fall in love with New York City a little bit more. So, it's another element of Hang On to Your Shorts Film Festival. We're a short train ride away from New York City. So if you come down to visit us, you can spend the next day in New York City and see the Rockefeller Christmas tree in May.
Yes. Yeah, sure. Why not?
It could happen. It could happen.
In a film, yeah, sure.
Yes. So I have to ask, Ming Chen, who's our engineer tonight, has been a friend of the fest for a long time and a personal friend. He's just a lovely person. And we've noticed that he's been busy. So I have to ask you, buddy, how have you been and where have you been?
I've been doing great. I've been everywhere. Probably the most exotic location. I was in Dubai about 3 weeks ago.
That is awesome.
For Comic-Con. That was a lot of fun.
So you are now an international goodwill ambassador.
I mean, I guess technically, legally, we could say yes.
Oh, yes, we
now,
can.
legally, international man of mystery, yes.
Yes.
I can say that legally. But Dubai was awesome. I hope to go back soon.
That is awesome.
That was
and
cool.
you were also in this Castle Film Festival?
I stopped by for a day. It looked like it went really well. Looked like
That is
everyone had
awesome.
a great time. And I hope, first year, so I'm sure they had some hiccups here and there. But Kevin's a nut. He hosted the film festival. He was there almost every day. But it started on a Wednesday. I'm like, hey, aren't you supposed to be at a Comic-Con on Saturday? It's the same one we were going to. He was like, yeah, I'm going back and forth.
Oh my God!
As long as I'm back for the awards ceremony on Sunday night, I'll be good. And he made it. So wow. But if there's one thing you want to take away from Kevin Smith, besides his great films, is don't sleep, do everything.
Yes.
So it's a good lesson. So, but he's a nut.
Go, go, go.
Okay, so this is weird, and you would tell me. My son AJ, who's literally on the other side of this curtain, just texts me, goes, when he went to Dubai, did he see Andrew Tate?
Andrew Tate. I did not see Andrew Tate. But,
Okay.
I have no idea who Andrew Tate is.
I did not see Andrew Tate. Chris Hemsworth was there. There was Thor. I did see Thor. So that was.
Oh, wow.
That was pretty cool.
But you've met Thor before.
I've met him a couple times.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
Yeah, but not in Dubai.
Not Dubai.
Not
No,
Dubai.
That's
Not
a
in
different
Dubai.
story.
That was cool.
Thor sees him. He's like, Ming, my man.
What's up, Ming? Yeah.
Call
Almost.
me.
Nah, can't call me.
Hey. I would not put it past you, buddy. I've partied with you in other cities. I know how it is. Shoot. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're first of all, we're beginning to wrap this down tonight. You know, we'd rather keep it short and sweet. We have one more brew that we want to try.
Yeah.
It's the Piece de Resistance. A couple of weeks ago, Diana, my girlfriend, and I, we went to New York City, and we stopped at a place called the Tin Building across from Pier 17, I think it is. Tin Building, and they have a place upstairs with multiple taps. And oh, brother, I have my keys
Somewhere over the rainbow.
down here, and they had a brew from King's Counter Brewers Collective again. It's called Silver Shadow, and it's just an amazing. And he's gonna have trouble opening
Yes,
it.
we're gonna have trouble opening it. If they had the thing in place like Maker's Mark does, where they just unwraps
Yes.
itself,
Yeah.
but it does not.
You know, you're drinking something quality when there's a wax seal that is very difficult to open.
So you have to peel this back. You have to get through this layer of defense in order to.
You know, the way that I would have done it wouldn't have been. I would have just grabbed it by the teeth. You know,
Please don't
I'm not.
ruin your
No, I'm not gonna do that.
your dentures
I'm
there.
not gonna ruin my beautiful smile.
Yes, but
Self-proclaimed beautiful smile.
well, there you go. I'm sure your girlfriend would agree.
Diana Maria. Oh, son of a fish. Hey Ming, do you have a knife or a machete back there, buddy?
Machete,
Hold on,
yes.
I may have a tool for you. Hold on.
Ah, a tool. Wow.
You say the sweetest things, man.
It's like this happens all the time.
Yes.
Yes, he has that
Oh, look
wine
at this. You're the
thingamajiggy.
man.
Yeah. See, be careful with that. It's sharp.
It's the man, absolutely. Okay, so while I'm doing this, I just want to know what's everybody's plans for the holidays here? You know, Christmas. We're not going to have a podcast pre-Christmas, so we could actually officially say that this is
Merry
our
Christmas. Our Christmas party.
Christmas podcast. It's a kickoff and a Christmas podcast. So what's everybody doing? What are you doing, Ming?
I'll be here, but I'm inviting everybody watching or listening to this, and you
Oh.
guys. The Bellworks Christmas party is on December 15th, a week from today.
Oh, wow.
We went last year. I had an absolute blast. Had a great band. Barbella was open. Yeah, we just had a great time. You know they know to party here.
Yes.
So,
Is there going to be another A Shared Universe Christmas soiree?
that's a
or
good
no?
question. Let me work on that because we
Yeah,
did it.
you don't have to. You know, we could do a post Christmas.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
It's so much fun. We did it pre-pandemic. Kind of took over the whole floor of our building.
Yeah. I
Um,
remember.
Oh
May or
my
may not-
lord! What kind of shenanigans went on
May
that
or
night?
may not have gotten into some offices that we were not supposed to be in.
Or
May
somebody-
have-
Wait,
Somebody
we
did.
did it.
Somebody
Somebody did. We saw who did. Lucky,
Yeah,
lucky,
right.
lucky
Right.
couple.
May have set up a bar in an abandoned office suite, whatever. But
Yes, this is legend. But
yeah,
yes.
that was pretty. We did it right. So I do want to get back to that. Let me work on this. We still have a little time.
Yeah.
You know what? I was just kidding, but you know what? I'm going to leave it at that because, I'm going to let you work on it.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Why not? I remember the last time I went was pre-COVID, which is now the standard for everything. It was a blast.
It was,
we had a
you know,
great
with
time.
so many wonderful people. Everyone
Yeah.
that podcasts for A Shared Universe is at the very, very least a character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like I don't know where Ming finds these people.
I think they
Ourselves
find him.
included.
I think they
Ourselves
find him.
included. You know,
Yeah.
brother,
He may have cracked the seal. This is like,
I'm almost there. Oh, I'm almost there. This sounds so inappropriate.
yeah, I thought that for a minute, but all right, let me.
Glickness?
Yeah.
Lovely Glickness.
I just finished watching the film actually.
Oh wow!
What did you think?
It was really, really interesting. I liked it a lot.
She says it was very interesting.
Satisfying and kind of sad, but satisfying.
Sad but satisfying
I
ending.
found myself kind of infuriated watching some of these kids. They're so unlikable.
Yeah.
And my sister says she was infuriated watching some of the characters. They're so unlikable. When you could
Behavior is just despicable.
connect the characters even in a negative way, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I was borrowing from personalities from that very environment that I went to, which was very much South Shore, everybody's privileged, and they're sort of oblivious even with race relations.
Yes. Well, you know, when it comes to race relations and everybody here could opine in a lot of different ways, but it just boils down to empathy. If you've never been the minority, you will never understand.
Yeah.
Yes, and if you cannot put yourself in anybody else's shoes because there is that lack of empathy, then you're not going to feel
Yes.
anything. I mean, again, empathy is what it is. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to experience it, but to be able to say, "Oh wow, I can understand how somebody would be upset by that," or "Wow, that was really disturbing." So it's. And that's where this really comes in. This film comes in at that heart level where it's really like, these kids are fucked up.
Yeah.
They are just fucked up. Man.
Okay, so I can't wait. I can't wait to
Okay.
screen it. To be honest with you. Okay, so
So
this is
this-
KCBC Silver Shadow.
Right, and this is a high recommendation from my good friend here, Hiram, who had this on tap.
Yes,
Beautiful thing. Somewhere in the city, you said Tin
the Tin Building.
Building.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, sorry, buddy.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
All right, so what? Give me your verdict, buddy.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you what it is first. It's an imperial stout aged in rye and bourbon barrels with cinnamon, almond, and Madagascar bourbon vanilla. And it's also brewed with oats and barley. So it's imperial stout. This is heavy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chewy. That's chewy, man.
Our buddy here has very interesting adjectives when it comes to beer.
Really nice mouthfeel.
Yes, very.
Yes.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
and creamy, but not like overly creamy. Like it's got this nice little nuanced head. So
Yes.
yeah,
Look forward to having this again.
Yeah.
Around Christmas. Next time we meet, we're gonna have this.
okay. Well, I
Okay.
got you a bottle.
Definitely definitely looking forward to that. Thank you. Yes, we're gonna have the bottle that you saved me.
Cheers.
So, thank you. Cheers, gentlemen. So I just want to, before we go, I just
Mm-hmm.
want to say really, really quick a couple of quick shout outs, and we'll pass it around the table. Above all, thank you for my sister Glickness, my son AJ, who's on the other side. I want to thank Andre for taking the time to come out here.
Thank you, sir.
My brother BK and my brother Ming. Ryan Calloway and Shady Dawn Productions. We were featured prominently in I think it's called the Northeast Film Festival Horror section last week, where we had 2 movies, Stay Out of the Cornfield, and my first lead role in a short film, a film called In the Twilight. If any of you have ever heard yourself on tape, you could probably understand how difficult it is for anyone, even experienced actors, to see themselves on a big screen. I would say that for the most part, I was happy with the outcome. There were some scenes that I even cringe. I'm like, why did he take that take? Why did he allow that? It was fine by him. I have no control over that. But I'm being too harsh. It's a great story. It was a lot of fun to film it, and my fellow cast members were amazing. Diana Iribarre, who's also a teacher in North Jersey. She played my daughter. That was really cool. And that may be coming to hang out to your shorts or to another film festival near you. I hope you guys get to see it soon.
Any platforms or just
Not
film
yet.
festivals? Okay.
Not yet.
Okay, just
Not yet.
festivals. All right,
But
that's
Shady Dawn Pictures, a lot of the films that I've been in are on Tubi. They're on Amazon, and a bunch of other Amazon Prime and a bunch of other platforms. Haven't had a movie screened in a major theater yet. Not yet. Still early in my process. I'm a rookie still. How about you? Who are you thanking?
Oh, I was on the spot. Who am I thanking?
He's still feeling the mouthfeel.
Yeah. I'm still feeling it. Well, I'm thankful for everybody here. I'm grateful that everybody got a chance to get together because this has been a while, and I really am grateful that our friend Ming was able to make it tonight because as well. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. All the guys who do the work behind the scenes here are stellar. But it's
Yes.
always a bonus when your buddies.
Yeah, we have
there.
both Christians, and
Thanks,
actually we
guys.
have 3 Chris's, don't we?
Chris. Yeah, we
Chris
do.
and Chris.
Chris, and Chris, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
3
they're all
Chris's,
legally
and-
named.
and they're all
They're all legally
they're all
named
amazing
Chris.
people.
All
so-
spelled differently, if you can
wow.
think of it that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know you're like how, but
Yeah,
we made it work.
Yeah,
Yes.
oh, that's cool. So yeah, so it's so that's great. You know, I mean, I was looking forward to seeing you tonight because I haven't seen you in a dog's age, so that was cool. And of course, Glickness showing up is always a wonderful
That's the
surprise.
real bonus right
Yeah,
there.
that's-
That's the true bonus. Come on.
A super
She-
surprise.
she's
Come
great.
on.
Yeah.
My sister's an angel.
She's like, of course I showed up. You had pizza and beer. You didn't know that. You didn't know that ahead of time. Anyway, so I'm grateful for you coming in tonight. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. This is really good.
Yo,
Taking the
listen,
time. I
we
appreciate
look
that.
forward to seeing you in May, and and invite friends and family. And you know what? We were gonna have a podcast probably every other week outside of Christmas. So we may call on you on the phone one day just to check in on you to see how you're doing.
I'll be there.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming.
I really appreciate it. man. It's very cool.
Thank you for everybody that watches this now and who will watch it in the future. We are the Hang On to Your Shorts Film Festival, coming to you live from historic Asbury Park in New Jersey, and recording our podcast from Bellworks, a shared universe podcast studios. So if you want a podcast, just give them a call. Go onto their website, schedule a podcast. You could come over here and you can have a chat with really amazing people.
Fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.